There we go. Oh, yeah. The voice is sexy.
So appropriate for this week. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that we make under duress because we are so tired.
At figurative gunpoint.
Oh my God.
But instead of a gun, it's our bed.
It's just like, come to me. Come be with me. And we're like, but we got to do a podcast. We said we would.
We have to do a podcast and we have to spend time awake without the children.
Yes. Remind ourselves that there's life outside of small humans.
Yeah, and then I go and volunteer to go spend at least 3 hours a week with other people's small humans and coach T-ball because I am a lunatic.
You are, but you're doing a really good job.
Thank you, and the kids are doing a really good job. I want to shout out to the Otters.
Yay, go Otters!
You guys are great. You're doing great. Quit jumping on each other when you go get the ball.
Seriously, it's such a dog pile every single time. It's like, holy crap. One of them is going to lose a tooth or get a black eye, elbows and knees flying everywhere because they all want to get that ball.
Yep. One of my kids got beamed.
Oh no!
Real hard today. She got she took one right off the knee. You could hear. Luckily, it's a T-ball, but it ricocheted all the way to the bleacher.
Oh, that poor kid. Is she okay?
She was fine.
Oh, thankfully, kids are like Gumby. They just bounce back.
So, how are you doing, babe?
I'm okay. I'm pretty good.
You had an entire, almost an hour-long conversation with another adult who isn't married to you tonight.
I did, yeah. I went to practice, T-ball practice, just to let the toddler play on the nearby playscape, and another parent was there, and we talked for a long time. It was nice to talk to a grown-up about just like regular old adult things. What brings you to this town? She was from here. What does your spouse do? What are your kids like? What do you like to do when you're not being a parent? Yeah. It was nice.
I think we might finally have some friends in the air. All of our friends live back home in the other Michigan city. We're from Flint, but we live in Lansing, and we haven't made friends out here. But we're making friends on the internet now.
We're
making friends. Congratulations to our listeners, because you guys are the reason somebody's been binging our show this week because we are over 500 listens on just Spotify alone.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, the analytics don't really tell the story on the other apps, but on Spotify, we started the week under 500, and now we're at like 536 listens. We're closing in on 100 unique listeners. And we do, I can't stress this enough, so little to promote the show.
Oh God, no, we don't promote this show at all. Are you kidding?
We are very much in the phase of like, we want to make sure this is something we want to keep doing. And we want to sort of figure out what it is and make sure that we are in love with continuing to do this and make sure that this is always our thing and we're doing it the way we want to do it. So we're just letting it grow organically. But if you're out there and you think, hey, I have a friend who would like this, tell them about it. And if you think you have a friend that would hate it, tell them too. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Hate listens or listens, man.
Shock them. But yeah, so thank you all very much for that. We keep growing, and we're going to grow this slowly because one of my biggest fears is becoming any level of famous. So if that's going to happen because of this podcast, and I don't think that it will, but if it is, I want it to happen very slowly and on our terms.
Honestly, if we get famous, like the 0.1% chance that we actually get famous because of this podcast, I'll stop doing the podcast. I think I don't want to be famous. It sounds awful. It does. I hate the fact that being on the internet puts you under a microscope, under strangers' microscopes at all times. Yeah. I don't want more people to know who I am. No.
I'm terrified of the internet. We've talked about that before. A bit of housekeeping. We mentioned it last week. This episode is posting on Monday, June 19th, 2023, the year of our Lord.
Beyonce.
Correct. There will not be an episode on Monday, June 26th. We are taking a week off. As we mentioned last week, I have a work conference that is taking us to Vegas, and Katie is joining me, and she's going to do absolutely nothing while she's out there.
I am going to read. I'm going to take my Kindle.
For fun.
And I'm going to take my Switch.
Yep.
And I'm going to sit in that hotel room. I don't gamble. I don't like casinos. I think they're too loud and too bright and too chaotic. So I'm not going to do anything except sit in my hotel room. And I will be so happy to just sit in my hotel room and read and eat snacks.
Amen. Amen. And I will be out on the conference floor networking and doing business reviews and
so
all
fancy.
that and all that fun stuff. So that'll be great. But so thank you all for continuing to listen. But we're going to take just 1 week off. But we're not taking this week off because we have a book this week. And what is that book? This
book is Glitch by Briana Michaels. Such a good book. Super quick read. It's like a popcorn read. It's light on angst, heavy on porn. It was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. It's also a novella. I think it's like 235 pages long or something like that.
Nice.
So it's a quick one. It's a quickie.
I'd love a good quickie. So, and I know I was going on and on about this. So I think this would be a good time. If you're new to the show, if you're one of the people that has been driving our listenership up this week, the premise of this show is that Katie loves smut. She reads a smutty book every week, and then she tells me the plot of the book, and I have no idea what the book is about, save for the title.
Yes. You have just a little bit of knowledge now because I made a TikTok today specifically to reach out to Briana Michaels to ask her a question, and you saw the TikTok.
I saw. I was on a conference call that I wasn't really paying attention to, so I sort of saw it.
Okay,
but not really.
Okay, so it's not like the TikTok had any real information in it, but
right. That's the closest I've come to any information.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's get into it.
All right. Glitch is available on Kindle for $3.99 or through Kindle Unlimited or through Briana Michaels' fantastic website where her audiobook is also available for purchase for $15. I didn't check Audible. I'm not sure that it's there. I'm guessing it's not because she's selling it on her own website. But I loved that you could go right to her website and just buy it from her. That's great. So getting into the content warnings this week, we're going to do... I made a list because there is not one. I might miss some, but I'm going to start with the sex, and then I'm going to get into the triggers. So, voice kink, pleasure dom, toys, orgasm control, edging, cunnilingus, fellatio, analingus, anal play, and so much fucking. There's also some stuff with like paint and things like that, but there's not really a word for that. And then for your actual triggers,
I think they call that a Sherwin-Williams fetish.
They're making a super hard push on social media right now. Like I see a Sherwin-Williams ad like 3 or 4 times a day on TikTok, which I think is really funny.
I think it'd be funny if Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore both hired or like created like really hot, sexy like AI. Like if they got into a big fight, like if that's how the paint wars started. Like beer advertises. Beer doesn't need to advertise. Neither does paint. But I want it. I want a hot kind of by Benjamin Moore.
Yeah.
A hot totally by Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of Ben and Sherwin.
Yeah.
Just hooking up.
Hell yeah.
And that's how they announce that they've merged.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead. I'm writing weird fan fiction in my head.
I will go off on a tangent about the fan fiction about Joanne and Michaels another time. So your triggers, your actual trigger warnings this week are former abusive relationships, stalking, revenge porn, and non-consensual videoing, and physical violence.
Wow.
Yeah.
They got all that in there in a book that is mostly fucking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of nice because it makes the angst is all kind of surface level. Deeply angsty books, dark books can be difficult to get through because it's like you're trudging through these people's really like their worst days and you're feeling all of that. This is like the worst hour of their life, which is a lot easier to deal with, in my opinion. So let's get into this story, shall we?
Yes, let's.
All right, so this is another dual POV book told from both Glitch and Ara's perspective. Glitch is our MMC and Ara is our FMC. We start with Glitch. Glitch, not his real name, nickname given to him by his sister, but he goes by Glitch almost the entire book. No one ever really uses his real name. Is a audiobook narrator and audio porn creator, and that's how we start the book. We open the book with dirty talk, an entire chapter of him dirty talking and cranking it.
Got a dirty talk while you crank.
Yeah. So the reason Glitch makes audiobooks or audio porn in general is because he has an incredibly low, gravelly voice. Now, if you're a voice kinkster, I reached out to Briana Michaels to ask her whether or not the voice that she was imagining was Corpse. Do you know who Corpse is?
No.
So Corpse is a streamer who crossed over into sort of the voice world, porn world, book talk world because he has a crazy deep voice.
Okay.
There's also another creator on TikTok whose name is Aaron Kine, something like that, who does similarly. He has a similar voice and he makes audio content because a lot of people out there really like a deep voice. So that's what I reached out to Briana Michaels to ask. And she told me to check out the audiobook preview on her website because she had it. Like she had a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to play it for you just so you can hear it.
And she's going to play it for me, but in the episode, you're going to hear the actual audio that I'm going to edit in about here.
Glitch. Nah, I just got caught up in work stuff. Sometimes when I'm recording a script, I
It's
lose track
just
of
a
time.
deep, gravelly voice.
Especially
Now,
when
Glitch
Ara
got
is the
made
one I'm
fun of a
fantasizing
lot in
about.
school. He got bullied a lot for having a deep, gravelly voice, so he doesn't talk, like, generally speaking. So after he's done with his audio porn making, which he does in a closet that he has retrofitted into a recording studio,
Very common.
Immediately goes to get onto a game of Titanfall, which I don't know if that is a real game or not.
It is a real game.
Which he plays with his friends Trey and Carson and Trey's friend Ara666.
They are not real people. Well, you were asking what was real. You said, is Titanfall real? I said, yes.
I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is he making predictions? Does he think that...
Ooh, I know this one. Fictional characters.
Glitch is having a break, and none of these people are real. No, no. So he immediately goes to get on a game of Titanfall, which he plays online with his friends.
People, yep.
And he mostly is just going because, like, yeah, he likes Trey, he likes Carson, whatever, they're cool. But he is deeply in unrequited love with Ara.
Okay. Ara.
Ara.
Right.
Ara.
I
think her full name is Arabella or Arabella, but she never goes by that either. He loves coming on to Titanfall specifically to play with her because he's desperately in love with her. But one of the reasons why he's desperately in love with her is because she's a brilliant shit talker. So all of the back and forth banter that while they're playing online is really fun.
I love a good chirp.
Yeah. The chirps are great. I think at one point Trey says something about Ara putting her dick away, and she's like, will you stop tripping over it if I put it away? Get your shit together, man.
I put it away, but I know how important it is to you to have access to it at all times.
So Glitch also keeps a Discord open at all times just for Ara, just in case she wants to talk to him at all. And they keep it entirely surface level, like he doesn't know anything about her, she doesn't know anything about him beyond the basics. But he is deeply in love with her.
Okay.
He asks her how her boyfriend is doing. Somebody asks her how her boyfriend is doing, and she's like, we broke up. Holy fucking days. They broke up, and her computer is also on the fritz. And
I'd better get in there and fix that.
Glitch owns a gaming and computer repair shop.
How perfect.
How perfect, right? So he's like, I should offer to fix it for her. No, I'm not going to do that. I can't. That's too much. That's like a weird energy. I'm not going to do that. So they finish out their game, but he has to break off early because his nephew, whose name is Beetle, they call him Beetle.
Okay.
Wants to play Minecraft, and he will drop everything he's doing at any time to hang out with Beetle.
Okay.
So he gets on to play on his shared server with Beetle, and they go to this, I don't know what you call them, a world. They have a world that they have put together.
Basically.
That Beetle had invited some other friends from school onto as well, and they built it all up, and they buried treasure chests underground, and they did all the stuff that you do in Minecraft to make like a really cool Minecraft place. And they get in only to find that Beetle's work has all been undone by these shithead kids that he let onto their server. Their entire world has been destroyed.
I did read a funny tweet about Minecraft today where apparently a parent was saying that the older sibling got onto the server and just put 80 cows into his house, and he was crying because that's far too many cows.
It is far too many cows. I mean, let's be real. That's so many cows.
I hope our children, I'm sure Minecraft will still be going when our children are older. I mean, our oldest plays Minecraft now, but like on a PC, he does not do that yet. But I would love for him to have that ability to create that world.
Yes.
Please continue.
So anyway, Beetle is very loudly pissed off. I can't remember how old he is, but he seems pretty young. I'm going to guess 9 or 10. And his mom, Glitch's sister, Erin, tells him to get off for the night. He's in trouble now, basically for cussing and having a meltdown. So Glitch gets off of the phone with Beetle, and he's like, I don't know what to do with my night now. Maybe I should go jack it again. But he gets a text message from Trey, and the text message just says, I'm sorry, man. It had to be done. And then he immediately gets a text message from Ara, who's like, hey, Trey gave me your number. He says you fix computers.
Trey's a good friend.
Trey is a very good friend. And of course he will. Obviously he will. But he's like freaking out now because she texted him. She texted him. Oh my God, she texted him.
Oh God, what do I do?
So he starts to glitch. The reason he got his nickname is because when his brain starts going too fast, he can't control his body very well anymore, and he can't control his mouth very well anymore, which I totally can relate to. And he starts like frantically tapping at the screen, opening and closing the text message app over and over again because he wants to say something to her, but he doesn't know what he should say. So he just keeps opening and closing it. And then he goes, you know what? I'm just going to sling some shit at Trey instead. So he types, the next time I see you, I'm going to put my hands around your throat and squeeze until you see God. Oops. He sent that to Ara instead. Oh no. But what he doesn't know, and what we're about to find out as the reader, is that Ara is desperately in love with Glitch as well. And when she gets that text, she's like, fucking game on, man. And so they start flirty bantering back and forth. Just a little bit. Glitch is losing his shit. Ara is losing her shit. They're losing their shit from opposite sides of town. But they go back to being professional and actually setting up the appointment for her to come to his shop. And so they make the appointment, and that's sort of the end of it for them. But Ara is another one of our insatiable girls. As you will. She has an incredibly high sex drive, and she masturbates multiple times per day. So we cut to Ara having a what do we want to call that? A diddle?
I call it. I mean, I think we established in episode 1.
Yeah.
You know, a diddle, and the best diddles are hall diddles.
Yeah.
Or diddles in liminal spaces.
Yeah. Well, she's in her bed, so it's not a hall diddle necessarily. But she's having a diddle, and she fantasizes about Glitch. She fantasizes specifically about his voice, and him telling her like what to do, and calling her Kitty. She has a thing for the superlative Kitty. She wants to be called Kitty. She fantasizes about sucking his dick while she has her diddle until screaming orgasms occur. She wants to be called Kitty specifically because she one time mentioned to Glitch that she bought a new pair of gaming headphones that had cat ears on them, and he called her Kitty in the Discord just one time. He was like, "Hey Kitty, what's up?" And now that's it for her.
And that, dear listeners, is how a kink is born.
Exactly. A fledgling kink breaks from its shell, opens its eyes to a new and beautiful world.
Blinks its eyes into the bright, shining sun of kinkdom.
Yes. Then, so after Aura's diddle and the text conversation, because they sort of happen in and out of order, there's not a good way for me to tell that in linear time, Glitch does indeed go back to his closet to crank another one and record the audio for what he calls his kitty series. Oh. He makes an entire series of audios where the listener, where he calls the listener kitty. So we got some kinks matching up.
Yeah.
Hooray. It's like watching God build the puzzle that's going to
right.
ultimately, if in this world, in this case, Briana Michaels is the God.
Yeah.
Briana Michaels is building this puzzle that's ultimately going to lead to like just massive orgasms. It's great. It's so great.
It's orgasms all the way down.
Cut to a few days later. In her offline life, Aura is an artist. She's a painter.
Okay. She
has a studio that she works in every single day. She is currently like strapped for cash, waiting on news of a new commission. She's doing the best she can. She recently broke up with her on and off boyfriend Jason, and he is now like doing weird shit. He's like showing up at places. He's showing up at her apartment. He's showing up at her favorite coffee spot, acting really weird. Sometimes he's drunk, or sometimes he's like really nice and trying to get her back. He's a fucking psycho.
Yeah. I'm glad you clarified though, because you were like, he's doing shitty things like going places, and I was like, that's not illegal. Oh, okay, but he's doing it.
He's doing it to try. Try and meet up with her.
Can you believe this fucker went to the grocery store and like bought staple supplies, like pantry staples? Fucking asshole.
Yeah, what a jerk! What a jerk needing flour.
Exactly. No, the other stuff. Totally fucked up.
Yeah. He also calls her and just like breathes into the phone. She has him blocked, but he just finds other ways to get to her. At this point, I would have changed my number personally. This woman is being stalked. It's really unfortunate, but there's nothing that she can do. This is not to the point where, don't get me started on stalking laws, but this has not gotten to the point where she can even approach the police.
I was going to say there's no basis or grounds for PPOs.
Yeah. Which is absolutely insane. And not that a PPO helps. 75% of PPOs are violated during a crime.
Oh yeah. That's I know. I just mean like it's not even the point where you could even broach the subject with the police department.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not even like you could go in there and be like, my ex-boyfriend is calling me a lot. Yeah. Go home, little lady. Whatever. Yeah. So she's contemplating that and what to do about Jason and whether or not he'll eventually just like shut up and go away as she is on her way to Glitch's store. Glitch owns a store called the Computer Cave.
Okay.
Where they fix computers and gaming equipment, and they also sell gaming equipment. I'm gonna guess PC gaming equipment.
I like this place already.
Yeah. The inside of it is super fucking cool. So the entire place is like graffiti arted. The walls are graffiti art and anime. They have like an area that's just board games and places to sit for mostly kids. Like this is where Beetle comes and spends a lot of his time because Glitch is Beetle's father figure. Beetle doesn't have a father in the picture, so Glitch is stepping up and doing everything that he can. He also has a big TV with like all the gaming systems in the back. He has built this super awesome place where kids can come and be safe and hang out with each other after school. She also there's a 20-foot Haku hanging from the ceiling. Haku the dragon from Spirited Away.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was so cool. 20 feet long, just hanging from the ceiling all the way along the shop. That's amazing to me.
That's very cool.
So Beetle is there with some of his friends. She speaks to the manager, is like, Glitch told me to come in here. Mm-hmm. I've got my computer, and so Beetle goes to find Glitch. When these two meet, what's bigger than fireworks?
60 millimeter mortars.
Okay, it's like 60 millimeter mortars going off. Like there is an immediate like feral energy about these two. They are so into each other. Glitch is your fairly typical book boyfriend, super hot, dark hair, blue eyes, I think. Or green, something like that. Incredibly handsome, like chiseled jaw. At some point there are 6-pack abs involved.
like most guys who work on computers for a living. The the well-tread and well-known reputation of many many guys that work at
I've seen a lot of IT bros who are like,
I know it's not
jacked or whatever.
I know, I get it. I the idea of like all the game stores that I've been into and the few computer shops that I've been to, never, not once. Bunch of attractive dudes, but in a less conventional sort of nerdy way.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, what you gonna do?
No book boyfriend material is what I'm saying.
So he is a book boyfriend. He's also like all tatted up. I think one arm is completely covered in tattoos.
Oh my God. Am I a book boyfriend?
You are a book boyfriend in a different way.
Yeah, I just meant I love the idea of like a character going, "Oh my God, I'm the book boyfriend."
Oh. Yeah, that would be really funny.
I'm a CPA.
It's very meta.
Why do I have a Harley Davidson?
Harley Davidson?
Or whatever.
Why is my dress shirt stretching and my buttons barely holding on?
And look at all this cake back here.
Oh my God. Are we reading The Orc from The Office by Kate Pryor?
we better fucking do it if that's what's going on. But anyway. I digress.
So he is your conventionally super hot book boyfriend. She is, they say curvy. I'm guessing not plus size, but definitely mid-sized. Artistic, like she's like a manic pixie horny girl.
Yeah.
She's got pink hair. And she dresses like super fun. She's super cool. She's mostly all attitude, and I love her. I love her to death. I don't say manic pixie in like the derogatory way.
Yeah.
She's great.
You're stating a fact.
Yeah. But if you like, picture yourself a manic pixie dream girl with long pink hair.
Yeah.
You got her. That's Ara. She's pretty. She's spunky. She's horny. Let's do it. So they both sort of like awkward their way through their first conversation because as into each other as they are and as in love with each other as they are, neither one of them is any good socially. So they get through the conversation and then he notices that her computer has like a big dent in the side of it. Somebody kicked it. So he takes her to the back and is like, "Is everything okay? Did somebody kick your computer?" And yeah, Jason kicked the shit out of her computer.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not working anymore. It started like smoking and like it's going to catch on fire.
Skipping school.
It's hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Yeah. Hanging out with consoles. Have you been hanging out with that PS5?
I told you I didn't want you to see him anymore. So he looks over her computer. It's like fully busted. There's nothing he can do about it. He says he'll do his best to like see what parts he can maybe salvage, but there's nothing that he can do. So she just sort of leaves. On her way home from the store, she loses her shit about how hot he is. And how much she wants to fuck this man. Then she texts Trey just to double check and make sure that Glitch is single. And he is. Hooray. Somehow the incredibly hot man with his own business is single.
Yeah, and she is too.
And she is too.
Well, I mean she
wasn't.
Recently.
Yeah, she was in an on and off relationship with Jason for a while.
Yeah. All right, well, because I was going to say, like...
And before that, she had consistent boyfriends as well.
Right. So both of them should at least know how to carry on a conversation with somebody of the opposite sex. The idea that these two extremely attractive people get awkward around other attractive people is slightly this is so far the most implausible part of this book.
I mean, I guess being hot doesn't necessarily make you good in social situations.
No, you're right.
Look at you. Actually, that's not fair. You're great in social situations. Look at me.
Yeah, but that's just because I've been masking for so many years. Underneath it all, I'm going, ah!
Just call that the autism scream.
Yeah.
The internal scream of a person who doesn't want to be where they are.
So Glitch is single.
And Ara's really into him.
All right.
When she gets home, she gets another heavy breathing phone call from Jason, but she just hangs up on him. He's like just a big man child.
Yeah.
In her brain, he contributed little to their relationship, but consistently expected a lot from her. Just the normal, like, shitty guy stuff that men so often do.
Yeah.
He would be, like, so upset with her for spending all day at her studio. Like, that's her job. That's what she's supposed to do.
Right.
Is to go to her job all day, but he doesn't think it's a real job because she's an artist. and shit like that. The fact that she doesn't actually contribute an income, quote unquote. At one point in the book, she's like thinking about what he used to say to her, and he was like, maybe you should get down and suck my dick just for keeping a roof over your head. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, buddy,
guy.
Maybe you should suck it yourself while I'm packing my shit.
Seriously, news for you as well. She rents the apartment. Like, she pays for everything. She doesn't need him to do any of this, and it doesn't matter.
Wow, he's extra shitty.
Oh God, he's so shitty.
Ugh.
He's so shitty. We haven't even scratched the surface of Jason's shittiness.
Hey, if you're a shitty dude and you're listening to this show, stop
it. Knock it off.
Stop listening. Go to therapy, or I will find you.
Was that a threat?
It was a threat.
It was a promise.
It was a promise. But seriously, I would love to beat up a really shitty guy. It's been a long time since I had a good scrap.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. So she gets home and she starts getting into another diddle fantasy, starring Glitch again, now that she has an image of him in her head, because they've never met. They've never even seen each other before.
But now she knows he's ultra hot.
Yeah.
Wait, are we gonna have a dick problem?
Yes.
Okay.
But we'll get there. So she's in the middle of her diddle fantasy when he calls her to tell her that there's nothing salvageable about her computer and he can help her build a new one. He's got all the supplies right here. Oh my God, look at that. I got it all right here.
That's so crazy. I own this place.
I can build this whole new computer. And she's like, great. Well, I guess we'll throw a funeral for it. I'll come pick it up tomorrow. No, he's bringing it to her house right now. She's got 30 minutes to get ready. Fuck. So she like runs to the bathroom to start getting ready, and she immediately trips and like busts both her knees. Which, something I would do. So after calling Ara, Glitch drops Beetle off at home in a very short scene where he talks to his sister. His sister has lost her job, meaning that she will not need childcare for the next few days because she'll be able to take care of Glitch on her own, which frees up his schedule to go and fuck this woman for days.
You mean Beetle on her own?
What?
You say she doesn't need childcare, so she can take care of Beetle on her own?
Beetle, yes.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
Sure. I just want to make sure I'm hearing it.
I'm sorry. I missay things all the time.
That's okay, and I'm here to just double check.
Thank you. So Glitch goes to Ara's apartment. It's in a crappier part of town. She rents it alone, so she can afford to also rent studio space. He's not super pleased with like the state of security because the door's not even locked, like the front door to the building. There's no cameras. There's no additional security features. Glitch is very protective in a way that almost had me like, dude, could you not be like a caveman about this right now?
A little too caveman / white knighty. Yeah.
But he manages to keep it to himself. That's the thing that keeps you from being a dickhead. You can think it all you want. You don't go around but he doesn't go around like making demands that Ara move buildings because her building's not safe enough or whatever. He just thinks it. Yeah. Well, that's fine. Keep it in your brain pan. Don't let it ooze out the mouth hole and you're good.
That's why we're still married. 15 years later, because your first apartment when I met you, the door would just like a stiff wind would just, if the deadbolt wasn't latched.
Oh, I know.
And you had a roommate, they would just wouldn't forget her keys, just wouldn't fucking take them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have to lock the door.
Yeah.
The wind will fucking door open.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't great roommates either.
No, they were terrible.
My roommates were shitty back when we first met.
Worst.
2009.
But I kept it to myself.
Yeah. My notes just say I have complicated feelings about this kind of attitude. Yeah, okay. So I just shared all my complicated feelings with you about that kind of attitude, that protective instinct attitude.
Cross that note off.
Yep. So once he gets inside, Ara's looking absolutely, just hot. So hot. He has brought her computer like in pieces back to her. She tries to pay him, but he refuses to accept payment.
And this is how their porno starts.
Exactly, right? I was like, are we going to pay in sex? We can do that,
Waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka.
But she's very insistent. She's like, well, I've got to give you something. So he says a date. he wants to take her to dinner. The flirtation that begins here was so fast, I almost got like horny whiplash. I was like, what? Holy shit. You guys went from being super awkward with each other to like triple entendres. What are we doing right now?
Wow.
How did you do that?
And can you believe he stuck the quadruple
entendre? God. I mean, it was like, it was so good. It was so good. Like the banter is all between them is amazing the whole time.
Okay.
So he leans in to kiss her. I was like, oh shit, we really are just doing this. Okay, great.
This is a novella. We got to go.
Let's begin. Rub your hands together to make them warm, guys. Yep. But then his stomach growls so loud that she's like, I actually do have to feed you, don't I? She turns around. She's got literally nothing in her fridge. She doesn't have anything in her cupboard. She's like, I've got cereal and I've got ramen and I've got pickles. Like, yummy. Been there though, for real.
Oh God, are you kidding me?
And he decides that he's like, no, come with me. We're going to go. Come with me. And he gets her in the car and he drives her to a grocery store where he buys her a week's worth of food. Like, that's what he's decided he's going to do. Such a sweet man. It is altruistic. The intention is that she's going to have food in her house. But also he does plan on being there as often as he can. So he's also buying food for himself.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like frozen pizzas and cans of soup. Like, we're not going crazy. We're just buying some food to keep in the house. They are super into each other. The flirty banter in the grocery store is great. At some point in the car, he said something to her that got her so wet. There's like a spot on the back of her dress now. And so like he walks behind her when people are walking by so no one will see it, so she doesn't get embarrassed. It's very chivalrous. It's very sweet. Also, he just doesn't want anybody else to know that she is capable of being horny, because if they are, they might want to sleep with her and then he'll have to murder them. Like, he's that kind of guy. Yeah. Again, he will never say this out loud. He doesn't behave like a shit bag, but he does have the thoughts in his head.
Now, I will say that there have been various points in my very insecure life where I was like, if she'll fuck me, she'll fuck anybody. Oh no! But
oh no!
You gotta let that shit go, fellas.
That's awful.
I was always terrified you were gonna.
It's not that. It's not that it's not that his self-esteem is so low. It's that he thinks she is the most beautiful woman on the planet, so she can have her pick.
Yeah, that's how I felt about you. I still do.
Well, that's adorable, sweetheart. Thank you.
I mean, less so now because I've gone to therapy, but
yeah. There is during this sequence, there is some like light BDSM stuff that's being introduced. Oh, spanking should be on my content warning list. Oops.
I'll add it.
My notes say he's methodical and in control. I'm guessing he's a pleasure dom. Good guess, you.
Hey, I won that bet with myself.
And she has like major brat energy. She's just like a little contrarian and likes to push for fun. They have this energy between them that's this you know this feeling. It's this combination of like the shiny new relationship and also I've known you for 1,000 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which is just super, super great as the reader to be like, oh, I love that feeling. If you've been there, I've been there with you. It was great when we first met.
Absolutely.
Back at her place, there is more mega flirtation mixed in with like the domestic task of putting away groceries. A baguette is featured heavily.
Foreshadowing.
As both a weapon and a phallic object. Like I think she like jabs him with it a couple of times, but also she like runs her hand down it. Did I write here? To mime certain hand stuff. Katie, you loquacious bitch. He promises spanks for brattiness, so she kind of gets bratty on purpose because that's how brats are.
I'm so glad you weren't, because I think it'd be funny. Like, I feel like I do have that sort of energy of like, again, rigor, routine, that sort of thing. And if you were like, ooh, I'm going to be like, he's being dommy, I'm going to be bratty, I would just be like, goodbye. You know the rules and I do not.
Before they can get carried away, the subject of her ex comes up, and she is still really upset about everything that happened with Jason, but she definitively says, we are broken up this time. We are not getting back together again, which Glitch just needed, like, said out loud. she also finally admits that he broke her computer because he was jealous. He was jealous, A, of the fact that she spent a lot of time gaming online with dudes, and he was fucking fragile, and B, because she was friends with Glitch, and specifically because she masturbated very frequently, and he heard her say Glitch's name while she was doing so. She said that part out loud to Glitch, and it was on. It was on like Donkey Kong, my friend.
Before you go into that, is that a thing? I have never once uttered anybody's name whilst just manhandling myself.
I mean, I can't speak to anybody else, but for me, no.
Yeah, it just seems like such a, again, different strokes, no pun intended, but I can't imagine saying any name, even my own. But anyway, so.
Even my own.
She has revealed to Glitch.
Carl.
Me.
Anyway, so she reveals that to Glitch. It's on. They head to the bedroom.
And we're fucking.
Yes. The next several hours and chapters of this book consist of, I just made a list.
Okay.
The Aura Orgasm Festival. Glitch never even takes his pants off for this. It's like several hours, and he never even takes his pants off. Of fingering, oral, vibrators, a fancy glass dildo, anal play, edging, squirting, coming so hard you cry, until Aura finally falls asleep several hours later. Now, when I say I worried about this woman's safety and well-being throughout this book, I mean it. So, Glitch is a pleasure dom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have context for that?
I mean, I can guess, but I don't really know.
He wants her to come as much as he can possibly make her come as often as possible.
Okay.
It's what gets him off, basically. The edging is also a big part of it as well. But so he is here to make sure that this woman has a good time. But the amount of good times had in this book and the timeline of this book made me worried about her.
I understand.
So she falls asleep eventually. Lord knows how long later, but she wakes up at 2 a.m. and he has ordered Chinese food or something for her. No, he made pizza. He made frozen pizzas for her and was preparing to bring her food in bed, but she just came out too soon.
Surprised she could fucking walk.
I know, right? So during this scene, she says the phrase, "You're trying to take care of me," multiple times. And that just it just blasts her heart to pieces that he's trying to take care of her, because men are terrible. And the last 3 boyfriends she's had have been awful to her.
Historically,
yeah.
As a man, I can safely say historically, not a great track record.
Yeah, absolutely not. And he's like, yeah, I am. I'm trying. I want to take care of her. That's all I want. I just want to make sure that she's happy, healthy, well, taken care of. That's all I want for the rest of my life. He's prepared to marry her in the morning if she'll let him.
Can relate.
Yeah. So this scene was adorable. They are so, it was just all melty and squishy and warm feelings and happy thoughts in your heart. They eat, they have a chat. Jason calls to breathe heavily into the phone for a couple of minutes. They banter about their meal. Fuck you, Glitch. Pineapple is delicious on pizza, by the way.
It's been a while since we've done this. Eat shit, Glitch.
Eat shit, Glitch. Pineapple is so good on pizza. No. So good.
Oh, no, I want a pineapple pizza. Anyway.
Oh, my God. Sausage, pineapple, and jalapeno. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Then she asks if he wants to see her studio. And he's like, yeah, absolutely, I would. So she's like, come on, let's go. It's 2 a.m., but they're going anyway. They're going to the studio right now. Her studio is super cool. She has she has the entire floor of part of an old warehouse with all these windows and a shit ton of paintings. He goes around and he looks at them all. He finds a nude that she painted of herself and he's like, gimme, I want it right now. She asks if she can paint him and he's like, yeah, sure. So she's like, get naked. And he stands there for an hour naked while she sketches his face. She just wanted something nice to look at while she sketched his face. Good job, you. Bratty behavior just a little bit, but it's funny. Then there is a blowjob. She gives him a blowjob as the sun begins to rise. I was like, the fucking poetry of this moment.
I love it. I'm laughing for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is that I love it.
Yeah.
The other reason is I know that will never happen to me, because if you're up that early, you're not blowing me.
No, I'm not.
You're mad.
Yes, I am. I'm not awake because I'm mad. I'm mad because I'm awake that early in the morning.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing that could get me out of bed that early in the morning is the airport.
I was going to say, yeah, our flight back from Vegas, our 5 a.m. flight back from Vegas.
God, shoot me.
But anyway, blowjob.
Oh, yes. So there's blowjob as the sun begins to rise. 2 orgasms on the board for Glitch. He also can have like just multiple. Like I don't think he gets soft the entire book. They comment on it. Like, she talks about it. She's like, do you ever I've never seen it flaccid. He's like, it's not going to be when I'm around you. Which is, great in theory, but in practice, that's how you get blood clots.
I was going to say, that's a priapism.
See a doctor.
Yeah, they'll have to drain it with a needle.
Ooh, yikes. Fantastic verbal praise and dirty talk in this scene. This book is it's like an ode to the voice kink and dirty talk. So all the way through.
Now, we mentioned earlier there was a dick problem.
Yeah, we haven't got to that part yet.
Okay. Well, I figured we've gotten the blowjob.
Oh, we have, but we haven't talked about the dick, like the actual size of the dick.
Got it.
And we won't for like a little while longer yet. Much more cunnilingus then ensues. 3 more orgasms on the board for Ara. And then exhibitionist masturbation and 1 more orgasm for Ara as well. So the lady just doesn't know when to quit. I swear to God.
Never not coming. ABC, always be coming.
Yes. She screams a little too loud at some point, and her neighbors, the other artists who rent studio space, one of them hears and comes to check on her and make sure that she's okay. So they call it a day for just a little while. And they go to Glitch's house instead. They're just bopping around. They're like doing the sexual tour of their town. Basically.
It's like a pub crawl, but for
fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. He takes her to his walk-in closet recording studio and plays her some of his audio porn. When he tells her that she inspired all of his work, and that he shows her a file of dozens of recordings. She has a panic attack. Not that kind of panic attack. So she has a PTSD flashback to all of the terrible things that her previous boyfriends have said to her.
Oh, okay.
And how awful they all were to her. And the fact that he is so good to her, so sweet, so kind, and has a masturbation station just dedicated to her is
this is my whack shack. Come on in, my lady. Here is all the audio porn that I have recorded with your name in it.
Just for you.
Are
hey,
you not
kitty.
Are you not entertained? No. I'm a little pissed off.
I might be entertained. It depends on the quality of the audio.
Right.
Turns out it's all crap.
Is this a fucking
bad? It's so bad.
You recorded on a fucking USB microphone?
Glitch would never.
A snowball?
Glitch would never.
At least get a fucking SM58 or something.
Oh. So he talks her down from her panic attack. He helps her get calm again. And then they have a conversation about what just happened. They talk a little bit about it. Ara she's sad that she missed out on Glitch for so long. Mm-hmm. They're both sad that they missed out on each other for so long because they were so hesitant to reach out.
I can understand that feeling, but I know that's the one thing we never had. You and I never I never felt that way about you, because there's no way that could have happened because you were 20 when I met you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was no waiting. I was about the youngest you could possibly.
Yeah.
Not in a creepy way. Don't be weird, guys. We just happened to meet at that age.
Don't make it weird.
Glitch, who gives his real name at this point, his real name is Sean.
I was going to ask. With a U or a W?
Sean.
Oh. You know what? My good friend Sean is going to be really pissed.
Yeah.
That I completely... Sean, I'm sorry. I love you very much, and I'm really sorry. Say hi to the wife and kids for me.
Yeah. So he apologizes to her for making her wait for so long. And then he demands the names and addresses of every ex she ever had so that he can kill them.
Well, okay. Not a great energy.
Yeah, well, it's got dark romance energy, and we can be here for that in a certain kind of way. I would be. I was. I mean, I don't actually condone violence and like murdering people, but there's something about a romance novel where you can throw a few things out the window. Like,
yeah, okay.
I can throw some of my actual real world morals out the window for like a guy stalking someone.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, totally. I would fuck up a stalker. Gladly.
Oh, no, I meant the stalker was the MMC.
Oh, like you.
Yeah, like you, or like haunting Adeline.
Okay.
Or something like that. I guess I can throw some of my actual real world morals out of the window because this is fiction, and I get to decide what I read, and I get to decide what's hot.
Yeah.
In the real world, it's not, but in fiction, sure, because it's a safe place to be that kind of like dirty, twisted thing. Anyway, he's a sweet, dirty, romantic man who says the perfect things to her all the time. That's the other thing that makes these books so great, is that they can be like whatever twisted inner like monster that they need to be because they're always perfect, you know? He then puts the audio porn on stereo and fucks her while the recording plays, which Italian hand gesture. I loved that.
Really? You said Italian hand, and I was like, Escher. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying ob.
Oh my God. No. Okay. So at this point, they actually have sex. Up until this point, they have been having sex without penetration, but they're actually getting down to it now.
Here we go.
They don't use a condom. They have a conversation about it beforehand. Glitch has been solo for the last 3 years. He hasn't had sex of any kind. And Ara did not have sex with any of her last 3 boyfriends ever.
Oh.
So they're kind of dumb and trusting, but I can't judge them for this. They had a conversation about it. They felt safe. Great. Cool. In the following scene, there is riding, anal beads, anal play, dirty talk, multiple orgasms for each. I lost count at some point, and cum fetish. Glitch's favorite thing to do is get her on her knees and jerk off onto her tongue. I don't know if there's a name for that, but that's like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do, yes.
That happens like 3 or 4 times in this book. At this point in the book, this is my own parenthetical. At this point in the book, they're both like, "How are we still going? How are we still awake? I don't want to know. I don't want to stop, but I also don't know how we're still going." So it's not just me that was incredulous at this point. The characters were also like, "What are we doing? How are we doing this? Hydrate."
Exactly.
They've gotten like maybe 2 hours of sleep total and eaten frozen pizza.
Yeah.
But they've been fucking for like 24 hours straight.
But again, I like when authors ground the characters like that.
Yeah.
Like they actually actively, like I was telling you earlier, like when I was playing Breath of the Wild, and that character was like, "Now you're going to try and convince me that you just remembered that, right? Come on." You remembered all of a sudden that thing you didn't remember right now. I like that. But also, I remember those days when I first met. Oh my God. Our first date that started at like after rehearsal and lasted until 6 a.m.
Yeah.
No sex.
Yeah. No.
But we just were together for
a very long
like
time.
8 hours.
Yeah. This whole book is basically like it's like their first week. It's like just a whirlwind.
Yeah.
First week romance or first couple of days. It's great because it has that feeling, that incredible like bubbly feeling of a brand new relationship, and it's encapsulated really well. Briana Michaels wrote this really well. My note just says, "Once more for the vine, anal penetration, toys, and coming until you see God." And that's where they do talk about Glitch's cock. Apparently it's huge. They don't give it like details, but she says that it's huge. And again, why has it got to be huge?
Yeah.
It's perfectly normal to have a normal sized dick.
Yeah.
Up until this point, he had not done anything penetrative, and she'd come like 30 times.
Exactly.
Who needs the giant cock? I don't know.
Well,
But
then again, it's what is huge.
That's
to
the thing.
Ara.
Yeah, what is huge? And also that particular thought comment happened during anal. I think they all are huge during anal, right?
Are you kidding me? Yeah. I've been to the proctologist. I know.
Yeah, you had a camera put up there and everything.
Yeah,
Get your colons checked, guys. They take a bath, they have a nap, and then when Ara wakes up at 2 a.m. again, which means that it's been 24 hours since the first time they woke up, and all they've been doing is fucking and sleeping. So fucking fantastic day for them. Glitch has ordered Chinese food. They check in with each other, they eat, they confess their love to each other at this point. Glitch is mega dedicated to marrying this woman, supporting her and fucking her until she is a puddle forever.
Same.
Yeah, he's a good man inside all of that.
But with you.
Thanks. He invites her to dinner with his sister and Beetle that evening.
Ooh, that's big.
Yeah, it's huge. But Glitch and his sister are super close, and he goes over there constantly. So he's not going to separate Ara from that at all. He's just going to take her. At this point, this is where they discuss the rest of their backstories, just like things that we should probably know about them. So Glitch's parents died when he was 15. His sister Erin raised him. When Erin got pregnant and had Beetle, whose real name is Brendan, Glitch stepped up to be the father figure in Brendan's life because his dad just dipped.
Okay.
Ara's parents got divorced when she was a teenager. Her dad has a new family, but she doesn't have anything to do with him because he's a piece of shit. That's all they really say about it. Her mom was a high school art teacher and encouraged her to follow her dreams instead of wasting time on a degree and a career that she would hate. Then her mom died of a heart attack when she was 21. She used the money from the life insurance policy and the sale of their house to rent the studio and rent the apartment, take care of the funeral arrangements. She moved away from her hometown to wherever they are now. And she's getting by okay. She's gotten a couple of commissions and she's sold a couple of pieces and she's getting by, but she's not doing great. And she's living the life of an artist and who is yet to fully establish themselves. She has that's when she says that she loves the studio space that she's in, but she can barely afford because she can afford it, but barely. But she has to leave it because in 4 months the studio space is going to be sold and probably turned into a fucking microbrewery or something. But she can't motivate herself to find something new because Ara's got ADHD out the asshole. She can't focus on something like finding a new studio space for very long. They take a shower. And then they get dirty again. Glitch eats ass, everyone.
Good man.
He takes her to her studio so that he can go to work. He manages to stay away from her for all of 3 hours before he calls her and does a little JOI or guided masturbation over the phone with her. And then he speeds to her studio so fast that what was supposed to be a 20-minute drive happens in 11 or something like that. And they have sex right there in a puddle of paint that she has specifically laid down as a fantasy. She's always wanted to fuck in the paint. So
I hope
they
it's
have
water-based.
sex covered, huh?
I said, I hope it's water-based.
So they have sex in the paint. Their banter is also delightful at this point. They're so very playful with each other at all times. She uses her finger to write the word mine on his thigh in paint, and he takes a picture of it so that he can get it tattooed on him later. It's super cute. That night at Erin's house for family dinner, the family dynamic is fucking superb. Ara gets along really great with Beetle. She shows him how to draw Pokemon and stuff like that and encourages him to if you make a mistake, you can turn it into something else because he's kind of a perfectionist little boy. Ara and Erin also get along really great. They get just a little bit drunk and they get to know each other and they talk about Glitch and fill in a couple more bits of backstory. So Glitch got a full ride to MIT and then he turned down every job offer he had to stay home and be near Erin and Beetle. He opened the shop and then he specifically curated it to be a place where he could hang out, where kids would be safe to come and hang out with him, which, I mean, not with him, but around adults who could keep them safe, which is really cool. Erin approves of Ara and how happy she makes Glitch because Glitch has always been a very reserved person and now he's smiling and happy. That's so nice. But the night is cut short because Ara gets an email. She has won the commission project that she's been waiting on to paint a mural in every elementary school in the district. And she's so excited that she wants to go to her studio and start working immediately. So they leave, but before they can get very far, she starts having an imposter syndrome meltdown. He talks her through that and reminds her that she is the badass that she always has been and will continue to be. And in thanks, she gives him a blowjob. And then she checks her phone and she's received a text message from her shitty ex-boyfriend, Jason. The text message is multiple media files of a video of her masturbating in her bedroom. And he says, quote, "If you don't come back to me, I'll make sure everyone knows what a disgusting slut you are."
I'll let now. I know this is very easy for me to say as a man, but I've thought about this before. Like, what if, like, I do shit in front of my webcams all the time, my phone, like, it's out there. At this point, could anybody really, truly be embarrassed if, oh no, you've got videos of me jerking off. I'll jerk off in front of you right now. I don't care.
Oh no, my nudes.
Again, I know I'm speaking from a wildly different place.
Yeah. I mean, speaking as a woman, being the wildly different place from you, specifically, I would be upset about it, but not because, like, obviously I would be upset that, like, my privacy has been violated. Yeah. Because that's not something that I put out in the world. That's something someone took from me.
That would be upsetting.
But also that the double standard would automatically make it so that even though I did that in private and someone stole that from me, I'm the slut.
But that's exactly what he's doing. Is he's weaponizing misogyny. He knows the double. He's weaponizing the double standard.
Yeah,
and that's what That's what revenge porn is.
Yeah.
Is weaponizing the double standard.
It's absolutely awful. So she's having a complete meltdown. Go figure. She's like, I just got a commission to work with elementary schools. I am going to lose that job if this comes out. He's like, I'll send it to every single person who ever shows any interest in your work ever again. I'm going to ruin your career.
Can you believe it? She masturbates?
Oh no, a woman who has sexual arousal. So she's having this horrible meltdown because she has been so violated. And she finally shows Glitch what is on her phone, and it's not good. Now they're both very upset.
Oh, yeah.
But she's worried that he's going to be mad at her. Because she
masturbates,
and the toxic men that she's been with in the past, and just the sort of toxic way that the world treats women's sexuality in general. But like, fuck all of that. He only cares about her,
of course,
and taking care of the situation. So they go to Ara's apartment and get her laptop. Then they go to Glitch's house, and so that he can like plug into like his Matrix like five screen system that he has or whatever. And he finds the spyware that was on her laptop that was recording her to begin with. He finds some other like creepy tracking software that's also on the laptop. He gets into Jason's network. I don't know how. He's a hacker. He's an MIT genius. Yeah. He does computer shit. I don't know.
He's a white hat.
Yeah.
Good for you, bro.
He gets into Jason's network and deletes everything that he can find with Ara on it from his work computer and his home computer. And then he manages to get into Jason's employer's database and find his new home address so that they can go and confront him. But they don't have to do that because when they leave Glitch's townhouse, Jason is in the cul-de-sac because he's been tracking the computer the whole time.
Right.
And Jason's immediately like, I need you. Come back to me. Don't be a bitch. Or whatever.
Don't be such a dumb bitch and come back.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. Like, he thinks he's going to get away with this. And Glitch is like, all right, let's do this then. It's so nice to meet, like, isn't my girl so fucking hot? Like, look how hot. Look, you got that video, right? Look how hot she is. Isn't she fucking amazing? Yeah. Like, he's just trying to get a rise out of Jason until eventually Jason attacks him and pops him in the jaw. Great. Now he can defend himself.
Oh God, yes.
Punches him just the once. He allows himself one punch so he doesn't actually commit a murder.
Yeah.
Clocks him in the jaw, knocks him unconscious, calls the police. The police come and take Jason away for assault. Ara is definitely going to press I guess technically Glitch is the one who's going to press charges for the assault.
But she could easily press charges for all the other shit.
Oh, yeah. So once Jason is taken away in police custody or in an ambulance because he's been knocked unconscious.
Because turns out Glitch is also an MMA fighter.
Yeah, he just got one good punch. Ara notices that he's still like clutching the laptop with like white knuckles. And she's like, what else did you find? Mm-hmm. What else did you find? She, of course, because he can't just be a normal, horrible person. He also found child exploitation material.
Oh God!
On both his work and home computers. Mm-hmm. So what he did when he was in there was he locked Jason out of everything and gave him and put like a new password in so that he could give that password to the internet crimes tip line.
So Jason had this material.
Yeah, Jason had all this material on his computers.
All right, because I want to make sure because it sounded like you maybe were implying that he somehow put it onto her computer.
Oh, no.
I was a little unclear. So he found that Jason had this stuff.
Yeah, he found that Jason had all of this gross, fucking awful shit. So he calls in an anonymous report to the cyber tip line and gives them all the information that they need. And by the end of this book, we will have been told that Jason went to prison for a very long time. So whatever he had was bad, in addition to the actually assaulting a man in the street. Ara is so completely sick and disgusted at this point by the entire situation that she just shuts down. She shuts down. So he doesn't know what to do except take her to her studio and let her go. Yeah. Let her figure her own shit out because there's so much going on and he can't help her. So he stays in her studio with her for 24 hours while she paints. And she paints a self-portrait of Glitch, which sounds like the portrait sounds super cool. It's like a photorealistic painting of him with code coming, falling behind him and dripping over his face. She said it looks like green honey, dripping down his face, and words that describe him and words of things that are historical to him.
If Glitch, then fuck.
If Glitch, then fuck. Yeah. The word deep is written up his throat because the thing that the kids called him when he was a kid to make fun of him for his throat was deep throat.
Yeah.
And he's got words like protector and provider and all sorts of crazy. It's a beautiful piece of multimedia art, and he loves it, and he wants to put it in their house because he is asking her to move in with him immediately. And she says yes, because who the fuck would want to stay in the apartment where they were so terribly violated? Yes, but also because Glitch is the love of her life at this point.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the book, but there is also an epilogue. 1 year later, Glitch is fucking the shit out of Ara in the computer shop 3 hours before opening. It's not during business hours.
Just hang a sign.
Because all they do is fuck no matter what. And they're still going strong. After 1 year, they're going to get married in 1 month. But today, Ara is hosting her very first art lesson that Glitch is hosting for the community kids in the computer shop. And 30 kids show up. And they have a fantastic time. It's all lovely, and everything works out perfectly in the end for them. At this point, Ara is letting the audience know through her internal monologue that they don't have children. They want to have children. They don't really care when they have children. They're not trying for children, but they're also not protected. They'll just
it happens. It happens.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Ara has also gotten a steady stream of work because her murals got so much attention from the local news with the elementary schools, and she got some private work, and she got a gallery show through some connections that Carson has. So Carson being one of Glitch's friends from the very beginning of the book that we only mentioned the one time. So things are going really well for them, and everything is happily ever after with so much fucking. Congratulations, Ara and Glitch. May you live in holy matrimony. Remember to hydrate, stock up on towels.
Yep. Some wet wipes.
Book 2 in this series is about Trey. And I'm gonna read that one too. It's gonna be great. Trey and I believe Glitch's sister Erin. Who deserves a good man, so Trey better be a good one.
Your sister is a bit fit. I'll stab your eyes out.
So yeah, that's the end of the book. It was fantastic. It was so great. I was a little taken aback by the sheer amount of sex in it, not because I haven't read books with this much sex before, but because it was so, it didn't feel like I was reading erotica. It felt like I was reading a romance novel that just had erotica in it. It was a really good combo. It was great.
All right.
It was delicious and spicy and sweet, and all wrapped up in this tiny little package of 235 pages. It was great.
And again, if you're a new listener, this is something that you used to say very early in the run of the show, 4 months ago, is that this is not a book review podcast.
No.
You're not reviewing the book. You are very indiscriminate when it comes to your consumption, especially of smut.
Yeah.
You're very pro-smut.
I'm so pro-smut. I can find something to love about every book I've ever read.
And that's what I love about you.
10 out of 10. Please go buy it. Like I used to say. I don't really say anymore, but yeah, I don't review these books. I will give you my thoughts on them, but my thoughts are always going to be the same. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
And that's why you're leading this show, because if it were me, I'd be like, you know what? Honestly, I'm pretty pissed off that I spent so much time reading this book. And now I got to talk about it again for this fucking podcast. This book sucks. I mean, that's because
not this book specifically.
Not this book. No, this book. Yeah, I am a much more. I have very specific tastes about things, which is why I generally stick to books about baseball, because I know, I already know kind of sort of how this is going to end. Yeah, they're all dead now.
One of the teams is going to win, and all the old players are dead now. Yeah.
That guy, he was great. He's dead. You can find us on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Cheap Smut. My wife is very tickled by that transition.
The lack of transition. It's just like, they're dead. You can find us on social media.
If you're into emails, you know, that old thing that people still there's going to be a time in our lives when people go, ugh, email, who still sends an email? cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. The song that you hear at the beginning of the show and underneath this little bit right here is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs for you to use free of charge for your podcast at thefreemusicarchive.org.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on any platform you see fit. We always appreciate getting more listeners. We've seen a little jump this week, and it's just making me giddy because I love sharing the stories, and I would love to share them with more people. In the meantime, listener, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
I'm tired. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.